Hello and welcome to Quilt Addicts Anonymous. I'm Stephanie Soebbing. Today we're not doing a quilting tutorial, we're doing an organizing tutorial. This is how I organize all of my quilting projects. And what I have here is a large bin of stuff I found in my basement when I was clearing it out last weekend. These are projects that are at least 10 years old, some of them older than that. And I'm gonna put them in my new way of organizing. It takes up less space and it's a lot more stackable. So I like to organize my UFOs and also any projects that I have fabric in a specific pattern for in mind in scrapbook bins. And not just any one will do. We want to make sure that we can fit a 12.5 inch block, which are the most common size for quilting blocks, inside one of these. So this one is 12 inch by 12 inch, which means it'll fit 12 inch by 12 inch scrapbooking paper in there, which is also a really common size. But if I open this up and measure the inside, I'm going to be able to get more than that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and measure here, and I can see that I have 13.25 inches across, and it's probably going to be about the same this way as well. It's about 12.75 from the depth. So that's perfect. That means I can fit 12.5 inch blocks in here, plus any of the materials that I need that I haven't worked on yet. So this is a great size. I really love these. They stack really nice. You can see what's inside them. And so that way you can get your projects. They're also really portable. I use these a lot when I'm going back and forth for working on a project at the shop versus at home, because I can get everything I need for like my stash and quilt in here and then just bring it back and forth, and everything stays nice and flat while it's being worked on, which you'll see is definitely not the case with these here. Also, they store great. They stack right on top of each other. They look good. If you find a brand you like, to stick with that. I like to get mine at Michael's, but I'll link to a similar construction that will work for you. It's an affiliate link on Amazon, so you can get it delivered to you in 2 days. So let's take a look. We're going to go down memory lane here as we unearth my UFOs and my fabric hoard from like at least 12 years ago. We'll see how this goes. All right, so first up we have some fabric that I got when I was in, where was I? I went to Guyana in high school, and this is definitely not quilting fabric. I don't even know what it is, but I bought this at like an open air market, and I know that there's others. I can see it actually in my bottom bin here. So I'm gonna just start a new bin for this, and I'm not gonna spend a ton of time refolding this. I'm just gonna get it in here so that it lays nice. If you are able to like fill your whole thing, that's great. You'll be able to get more in there, but I'm just gonna let it go with the fold that it was in. And someday I'll do something with this. It's too pretty not to. And it has good memories. Like, who can say that you bought fabric in an open air market in a village that you could only access via boat ride on a river? It's really cool. Someday I need to do something with this. We're gonna set this guy to the side for now. So it's a mix of like keeping projects together, and then also things that I intend to be together in a project, or like in that case I want to keep all my Guyana fabric in one location. So this one I really need to finish. Oh no, this is my t-shirt quilt. This is my travel t-shirt quilt. So these are some t-shirts that don't fit me anymore, and I've got some interfacing in there, and I hate this fabric now, so I'm gonna have to redo that. But these are the memories of the places that I've gone. So obviously in every case, this isn't gonna work to fit perfectly in here, because obviously I've got stashing on here, bigger than 12 inches, but we can get it in here and it will still look halfway decent. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and fold this in, because I think what I'm gonna do is rip this fabric off at some point and redo the sashing. So that way my t-shirts can be nice and flat. What else do we got? We got the instructions. These instructions, by the way, are free printable on our website. Looks like I've got another t-shirt in here. You don't need 2 sets of instructions. This can go to the Quilt Addicts Anonymous team. We're good. We got everything out of there nice and organized. And this is also a really good way, like if you're trying to pare down the amount of space that things take up, you can get all your t-shirts cut and fused, and then they'll just fit in one of these bins and be ready to go. So that's kind of nice and fun too. All right, so now this is ready for whenever I actually have time to pick this back up. It takes up much less space than this big bin. Oh man, this is just trip down memory lane. I bought this fabric on my honeymoon in Hawaii, and I wanted to do, like, take a class on Hawaiian applique. I didn't end up doing one, but I did buy purple fabric, batik fabric all over, so that at some point I could do it. And I still do have the quilt book for it, but I just bought, I think, fat quarters to do the Hawaiian applique, and then I bought a whole bunch of white because not all white is the same. I might have to refold this a little bit. All right, so I just stepped off camera to get to our big cutting mat so I could fold this to fit a 12-inch square, and that way I'm going to be able to put the rest of this on here and have it not be totally smushed, and until I can get to actually doing it. I like to, when I have fat quarters like this, just kind of lay them out. And looks like I must have used this one already for something. We'll leave it in there though. These are so pretty. I need to do something with this at some point. Okay, so now I've got them all layered out nice. It looks very pretty. I can go ahead and close it up, and I've got everything I need. I think this was supposed to be like a queen size quilt. So we're ready to go, and maybe someday I'll get to this. I have finished my wedding quilt, but not the fabric I bought on my honeymoon. I've done nothing with that. All right, this one really also needs to be finished. This I put together with my friend Dana from high school, and I don't think I was married. I think I maybe had just gotten engaged. And we got together and got all of the t-shirts. She didn't sew, but I helped her get everything sewed on, and it's pretty much ready to go here. We got all these t-shirts. You can see them here. We've got all these t-shirts from our high school days together. I remember when we tie-dyed this one on swim team. So I need to do this. I've got a photo on Facebook somewhere of us being young and thin, looking over this. So I'll have to look at it and figure out what dimension everything was supposed to be in, so that way we can finish this up, because it looks like I've got everything in here ready to go. I just need to sew it and then mail it to Dana. Dana, if you're watching, I still have it. Someday you'll get your t-shirt quilt. Oh, this is fun. So we had a couple that we used stashing to fill in. Yeah, that'll work. If you haven't seen our t-shirt quilting tutorial, it was like the first video series I ever did. We used to shoot them in one take in my dining room on a cell phone. So, t-shirt quilt ready to go. Dana, someday I'll finish this for you. All right, so we have come across more fabric from the open air market that I bought in Guyana. So let's see. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I do want to keep it because it has memories. So here's the thing, is you don't want to like just throw it in there like that, because then that's going to be a horrible fold to deal with over time. They would rip the fabric. You can see it here. It's all like just torn, which is kind of fun. Let's go in thirds maybe. This one is also really pretty. It's got sparkles on it. Also definitely not quilting fabric. I feel like there's probably not much need for quilts in the rainforest. It's a little hot there. All right, I'm gonna have to learn to sew a garment. I mean, I kind of know. I sew for my daughters, but this is pretty. I gotta do something with this someday. One more pretty. All right, so everything that was in these bins that are so tall we cannot even get the top one on camera. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 16-quart bins. Fits in 5. How do I have 4? And I have 5 projects. No, this is 4. I can't count today. It's Monday. Or Monday when I'm filming. Probably not when you see it. But anyway, so obviously we're like a little bit more than half the height. It fits everything in here really well. It's a great way to store your projects, because then your fabric is not going to be smushed, because you got each one is in its own hard case, so you don't have too much weight on it. Again, you can fit a whole quilt block in here. Actually, I'm going to get out one more UFO that's been in this desk for like 8 years. A lot of years. I'm going to get it out. You guys can see it, and I'm going to put this in my storage as well. All right, guys, it's confession time. I've had 64 New York Beauties put together for years. Since before my daughter was born, and she just turned 7. They just need to be put together and quilted. I think part of me was waiting until I felt like I had the ability to quilt it, which I do now, thanks to ruler work. I need to do something about this someday. Someday this Christmas quilt needs to be on. Have you ever had a quilt so long that you're not like super in love with the material anymore? Like, to me, this is all going to be really busy now. I may not really even want it for myself, except that I put so much work into it. My mother, I think, would love it though. This is very much her style of fabric, and I think she would enjoy it, but maybe, we'll see. So let's see, when was the magazine? I've got the magazine pattern in here. This was August 2010. So this is an 11-year-old project right here that we're gonna get organized. So here we go. We have enough blocks for a king size quilt, plus the magazine that it came in, all fitting in here, just taunting me to put it together, maybe for this Christmas. I doubt it. We gotta get the little one in daycare. Then maybe this'll happen then. But it's ready to go, it's organized. Ooh, I just found templates and binding for that as well. So I'm gonna add that to my bin. All right, now all the components are there. I won't accidentally use the binding for something else. And it's ready for me whenever I wanna give it a go and make it happen. I'm actually doing a quilt retreat this year. Maybe I will bring it along and I will actually get it together then, because I don't wanna do work projects. I wanna do like me projects. We'll see. That may be ambitious. We'll find out. Okay, now we're on to the garment fabric bin. I know, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I watch Project Runway, I get the feeling that I can make all these fabulous things, and I probably could if I put my mind to it, but I never put my mind to it. So we're gonna go through this, we're gonna figure out what I actually want, and what I don't want is gonna go to a friend of mine who does like garments and makes them all the time and is fabulous about it. Oh, this one's a heavy one. Let's see what goodies we have in here. All right, so first thing I'm gonna check is the size of this pattern. Is it something that is even gonna fit me now? Because I've gotten a little wider, I'm sure, since I picked this up. It will fit. I could make this happen. I'm sure I didn't intend to do the slit, but former Stephanie was somewhat organized here. And I have, it looks like the outer, the lining, the thread, and the pattern, and I wouldn't be surprised if I find a zipper in here somewhere too. So for all of the garment fabric, I'm having to kind of fold it in thirds first to get it in here. Where'd my thread go? All right, we're gonna add our lining, we're gonna add our pattern, and the thread, close this up, and if I find a zipper, we'll add that. That would be a very pretty skirt someday. What is my next treasure in here? Ooh. This has got to happen someday. What was I going to do with this? There's a zipper, some thread. This is not a lot of fabric. How I know what I was going to do. This was going to be my skirt, and I think this was going to be my top. Or maybe I was doing the dress with that, and this is not enough for a jacket. I don't know. I would like to make it happen. So I'm going to make it happen. Isn't that fun? It's a really fun polka dot. It's kind of sheer. Well, no, it's not really sheer. I don't know what I was doing with this, but I'm going to figure it out. And I'm gonna make it someday. Someday I'll have time, right? Zipper, thread. I mean, I feel like these are too pretty to get rid of. I gotta make it happen someday. I even have the interfacing. Past Stephanie was organized. I'm fairly positive I just found pattern instructions for making like a couture dog coat that was listed by Vogue. Pretty sure this is dog. Let's see what it's supposed to look like. Yes, this is most definitely a dog coat pattern by Vogue. The puppy could be stylish. I remember this one, and I actually have a sweater that would look great with this skirt. So I might have to make this happen someday. Here, fashion fabric is always inside out when it comes off the bolt. But check out that. That is some pretty stuff for some pattern matching. And a nice, probably now out of print pattern, really pretty. I think I was inspired by that. I'm gonna have to get into this. I don't know when. I'm gonna have to find some time. This is a lot of fabric. Is there thread for this? There was thread for this. So maybe there's some alternate universe where I have my Christmas quilt UFO done and this fabulous red dress to wear at Christmas as well. Maybe that might happen in another universe or time. Maybe this year. Maybe like 10 years. Someday. This is a classic pattern. I feel like you can do this anytime. And the sleeves are fabulous. Because I don't know about you guys ladies, finding sleeves for a dress, like, it's just impossible. I don't know why. You gotta wear a jacket with it or something. But I'm keeping this. So far I haven't gotten rid of anything. This is probably not good. Man, whoever cut this like murdered that wool. Look at that cut. All right, we've got my first one that I'm not gonna keep. So this was supposed to be some sort of t-shirt thing. I don't see myself wearing this now. This is something I know that my friend would love because it's a nice knit material. She can do something fun with it. So I'm gonna pass it on. I don't know what I'm doing with pattern. Maybe I'll keep that somewhere. Apparently the bag I started to make back in the day and didn't finish. I don't think I'm gonna finish this. Okay. My stomach is no longer in a situation where I can wear this dress. And this would show everything. So this again, this is a knit. I know she'll love it. She'll be able to do some fabulous things with. Going to my friend. Finally getting rid of a few things. Ooh, I think I intended to wear this with the brown striped skirt. So this one I do think, it's a nice little sweater knit. I think it'll be fun to work with and it'll be pretty. I feel like this fabric was supposed to go with this because I think that's sheer. I can just wear a cami. Let's give this to my friend. Alrighty, I don't know about you guys. I think this is a combination of watching way too much Project Runway and also way too much Mad Men. But I like this idea of the fitted dress. I know I just said no to the other one, but you know, Spanx are there for a reason. And I think this would be really pretty, especially in the plaid. We're gonna keep this one. We're gonna make this work. Is this the right side? I mean, it's a plaid. There shouldn't be a right side. There should just be a side. Oh yeah, that's pretty. I could see myself in that with the olive skin tone. I already have the lining in the zipper. We're not gonna toss this one. I specifically remember that I wanted to do this with all the pin tucks with this. I feel like that would be a nightmare with this fabric. I think one of these would work though. Is that pin tucked? No, it's not. Yeah, we're gonna pass on that one. I am certain I ordered these fabrics specially online so that I can make this. And I can safely tell you that there's zero chance I'm gonna ever make this. So this can go to the friend bin if she wants it. I don't think she will. It's pretty wild, but we'll let her have first dibs on it. I think I was gonna make a scarf with this, like an infinity scarf. We're gonna pass it on. All right, what do we got going on here? We have a very bold silk dress. I think this might be the exact same fabric. Yes, it is. I had zero creativity with this one. I don't see myself wearing this as a dress. Do we have anything else that we could make work with? No, pin tucks would be awful with that. We're gonna pass this on too. All right, so we had big heavy bin that we couldn't sort through and we didn't know what was what, to now nicely organized projects where I can easily grab and say, okay, I'm gonna actually do the Christmas dress. I'm gonna grab you and see what I need to still get and go for it. A lot of these have everything they need. Like this skirt has all the lining and everything for it. So that's awesome. So someday I'll do some made stuff. For now it's organized. I've got the pattern with it. I've got my thread. I got my needle. The zipper. I'm ready whenever I decide I want to tackle it. Much easier than this mess. And then we have just a small bin that's going to go to a friend, but Super nice. And I feel like the moral of the story is if you don't love the fabric, somebody will. So you definitely probably have a friend within your sewing circle who can make use of it, or they might know somebody who can if it's not their taste. So that's how I organize everything. Let's get the quilty ones back out here. We have so many bins. Oh my gosh, like seriously, this whole section behind me filled with bins. This is so much neater and organized, and I can just put it on some wire shelving and it will be great, and I can make it as I get to it. All right, so here we are. We are all organized. We got a mix of UFO projects, projects that have all the things with them. Like I've got my quilt here of material to do a Hawaiian applique quilt someday when I have time in my life, which I haven't in 12 years of marriage so far, but someday we'll get to that. And then a bunch of garment ones. The patterns actually are going to still fit, so you know that's always a good thing. And someday we'll get to all this fun stuff, and it'll be fun and pretty. But in the meantime, you're not going to lose anything, because I know, like, you've been there. Like, I got an email from somebody over the weekend. They traveled somewhere. They were trying to make a bag pattern, and we can't give that out digitally because it's not our pattern. So she was just, you know, out of luck until she can get back to her pattern. And this way you can just have everything in your bin, all your stuff that you need to make it, your pattern, any hardware that you might need, even your preferred thread. It can just live in your bin. And then you just have to, I just have to grab my bin and take it to Quilt Retreat, and maybe this quilt will come home with me as a completed top. We can dream, right? All right, so that's how I organize. I think this is much better than my previous method, which was in my basement for 10 plus years. But let me know, how do you organize your stuff? I really love this. Those scrapbooking bins, they're so useful and they stack really nice. These aren't even all the same brand, but they still stack really nice. So that's always good. They come in different colors. I prefer clear because then I can see exactly what's in it and what color it is. But that's up to you. So I hope you found this useful. If you did, like and subscribe. We do lots of actual sewing tutorials on here. We show you our brand new goodies that we have in the shop, so you can get first dibs on that, because sometimes things sell out kind of quickly. But this is a good way to organize everything. And to anybody who's wondering if I have any guilt about starting a new project with all these UFOs, let me tell you, I got even more in the back, and no guilt. I'll cut out a new quilt next week, and I'm good with that. You know, you got to work on what brings you joy then. And would I have joy in this one, getting it done someday? Yeah, but I have new fabric that brings me joy too. So I'm going to work on that first. So until next time, happy quilting.